Imagine you're sitting in a cold stone cell under the Colosseum. Just a few hours ago, 50,000 people watched your husband get torn apart by a lion. The stands are emptying now, the torches are burning low, and the only sound is distant footsteps getting closer. A shadow falls across the doorway. It's one of the gladiators who lived through the day, still dripping with someone else's blood. A guard turns the key in your lock, and the man simply points at you. This wasn't a horror film. This was a normal Tuesday in ancient Rome. What I'm about to tell you is the part they leave out of every schoolbook and every Hollywood movie. After the crowd went home, the arena didn't shut down. It changed purpose. Down in the tunnels beneath the sand, there was a quiet, bureaucratic system that turned conquered women into rewards for the winners upstairs. Roman writers mention it in passing, almost like it was too ordinary to need explaining. Modern historians had to invent a Latin name for it because the Romans never bothered. Victoria Carnalis, the carnal victory. The same empire that gave us roads, aqueducts, and the idea of law ran a state program that treated human beings like equipment to be issued out after the show. When legions crushed a rebellion, the survivors were sorted the way a factory sorts parts. Fighting-age men went to the mines or the arena. Small children were shipped east to slave markets. Women of a certain age were listed as captiva, state-owned war prizes, and many ended up in holding cells under the biggest venues. Their names were replaced with numbers and origins: Germanica, Dacica, Syriaca. Roman law was brutally clear. Once you were classified as res, property, you had fewer rights than a table. Anything done to you wasn't a crime because objects can't be victims.
The gladiators lived in this strange gray zone. They were slaves, technically lower than dogs, yet they were also celebrities, with fan clubs and graffiti love letters scratched on walls. Rich women paid guards for a night with them. Their sweat was scraped off the training ground, bottled and sold as perfume. But Rome never forgot Spartacus. They knew what those men could do if they ever decided to turn their skills outward again. So you kept them fed. You gave them prize money. You promised freedom after enough wins, and when the games were big enough, you let the best performers walk downstairs and pick a cell. The underground corridors still exist. Archaeologists found small rooms with iron rings bolted into the walls at ankle height, waist height, shoulder height, stone benches at a very specific level, heavy doors that only lock from the outside. Some walls carry scratches made by fingernails. One message, carved in shaky Latin, reads, "I was Amelia from the Brigantes. My children are dead. Now I am nothing." Another, in what might be early Welsh, just says, "Let me die before tomorrow." Roman writers like Martial and Juvenal talk about it the way we might mention the catering truck. To them, it was logistics, part of keeping the games running smoothly. The same officials who scheduled lion fights also managed the distribution of women. It was cheap, it kept the fighters loyal, and it sent a message to every conquered tribe. This is what happens when you lose. The really unsettling thing is that it didn't end because anyone decided it was wrong. Gladiatorial combat was finally banned in 404 AD after a monk jumped into the arena and the crowd stoned him to death for interrupting the show. But the cells, the rings,
The whole infrastructure stayed in use for centuries longer whenever Rome needed to process another defeated people. Today, millions of tourists take pictures inside the Colosseum and never hear about the rooms underneath. The stones are still there. The scratches haven't been erased. The empire that taught us so much about law and engineering also built a machine that ran on systematic, recorded, utterly ordinary cruelty. That's the part they don't put on the postcards.